Hey guys, checking in for chapter 5. Where we left off, Kiki and Toby are both inside of the other barn, which we've now learned is the house. And we know that Toby is very comfortable in this house, but Kiki is feeling a little bit different. She's feeling very anxious right now, nervous. She wants to believe what Mama said, that you can't trust people things. And Toby says that you can trust them. But Kiki's so hungry that she's thinking about going into the kitchen because supposedly there's food and milk. Chapter 5. Mother put some round things on a big thing with long legs and a flat top. What do you think that is? She put some round things on a big thing with long legs and a flat top. What do you think it is? Things I know that are a big thing with long legs and a flat top. Those clues make it sound like it might be a table. They made a kind of tink sound when she put them down. What do you think she was putting on the table? They made a tink sound. Makes me think maybe some plates. They're round. And when they're made out of certain materials, they might clink against something else. My nose kept twitching. There was a beautiful smell in the air. It made my nose wiggle and my mouth feel wet and drippy inside. I don't know what the wonderful smell was, but it certainly was wonderful. Then Mother yelled, "Supper! Everybody come and eat!" She closed a big wood thing that stood between where we were and the kitchen. It kept us from seeing what was happening. What do you think that was? What did she close between them? Big wood thing that stands between where they were and the kitchen. It kept us from seeing, so they couldn't see. He said, maybe a door. I would agree. Toby had noticed the wonderful smell too. He just got to the wood thing when Mother closed it. He stuck his nose down at the crack underneath the wood thing and sniffed. Looks like it was a door. Meow, he told me. It sure smells good. Meow, real good. It felt safer with the wood thing there. With the people in the other room of the barn and me and Toby in here, I crawled out from under the couch. We could hear tinking and clanging and pattering from the other room. Mother and Daddy and Ben and Sarah talked and tinked and clattered for a long, long while. Then everything got sort of quiet. All at once, the wood thing by Toby and me opened. I jumped back. My tail fuzzed up. Toby didn't move. He stood there, looking into the kitchen. I let my tail drop and moved up beside my brother. "You two ready for supper?" Mother asked. "Come on in. It's all fixed." Toby walked past her. He got real close and leaned against her leg. Mother didn't kick him or try to bite him or anything. She just stood there and let him rub. "Come on," Toby meowed. "Let's see what smells so good." Cautiously, one step at a time, I followed him. Mother scraped some food onto the round things that went tink on the table. She put one bowl down in front of Toby. She scraped some more into a second bowl and put that down next to me. "Stew," Mother announced. "You two hungry for stew?" Toby went straight to his bowl. He stuck his head in and started eating. Carefully, I eased up beside him. "This stew stuff smells marvelous," I thought. "But what if—" I jumped back. "Go on," Mother coaxed in a soft voice. "I know you're hungry. Go on, little girl. Nobody's going to hurt you." Her voice was very gentle and friendly. I moved back to the bowl. I kind of snuck up on it. I'm sorry. Yeah, I kind of snuck up on it. Step by careful step. I was scared, but mostly I was hungry. And this stew smelled so. I took a bite. It was delicious. It was the best stuff I ever tasted. I loved it. Stew was better than milk. It was even better than mice. It had orange things and yellow things and a few green things in it, all mixed up with gravy and lots of meat. What do you think the orange things and the yellow things were? And a few green things in it. What do you think? Maybe some vegetables, maybe carrots, maybe could be yellow things, maybe corn, maybe vegetables. And I was so hungry. I ate and I ate. I didn't even notice when Mother knelt beside me and started petting me. I didn't mind though. It didn't feel bad. Besides, it felt so good to have something to eat. In a little while she left and Sarah came. She sat down beside me and crossed her legs. She started stroking the hair on my back. She even scratched behind my ears. Toby was right. That did kind of feel good. It felt great to have my tummy full. I guess I hadn't ever been so hungry before. Of course, I hadn't had a thing to eat since Mama left. Nothing at all. But stew was fabulous. Sarah put a hand under my tummy when I was finished eating. For a second, I thought she was going to pick me up. She didn't, though. I was glad that she didn't, because as full as my tummy was, that would have hurt. Instead, she stroked my fur some more and scratched my ears. Then she left for a place called bed. Mother told her she had to. I licked every bit of the stew from my bowl, and when I finished, I went back and crawled under the couch. Maybe people things aren't so bad after all, I thought, as I licked my paws and washed my whiskers. Even the stew that was stuck to my whiskers tasted good. Toby curled up in the chair and went to sleep. I finished my bath. Ben had to go to bed too. Mother and Daddy stayed up and listened to a thing called the stereo. I liked the sound that came from it. It was almost as good as the humming I had heard Mother do when she was working in the kitchen. I closed my eyes. People were okay. At least the Burkes were. They were nice. Besides that, Mother made terrific stew. Chapter 6. I learned a lot during the next few days. I learned that the barn was where the Burke family lived. The barn where the Burke family lived was called a house. Oh, we were right. The round things with long legs were tables, and there were lamps on them where light came from. The Burkes had names for the different rooms in the house, too. My couch was the living room. They had bedrooms for sleeping, a playroom for watching a machine called a TV, and the kitchen. The kitchen was my favorite place. That's where Mother or Sarah fed me. They had some dry, crunchy stuff that they called cat food. I didn't much care for that. Once a day, Sarah would open a can of real cat food. It tasted like meat. She would give me some in my bowl. It was good, but not nearly as good as stew. Things went pretty well in the Burke's house. I liked my girl named Sarah. She was mine because I was hers. She would call me her cat. She would pet me and scratch me behind my ears. She talked to me real softly and was never mean to me. It made me purr and feel warm and toasty inside. Toby belonged to the boy named Ben. He and Toby liked to play. Ben would drag a stick across the floor. Toby would pretend it was a mouse and sneak up, then pounce on it. Ben would laugh and grab Toby and playfully rub his fur the wrong way. Toby would arch his back up, way up, like he was really mad. He'd kind of pounce sideways, like he was going to get Ben. They would roughhouse and play for hours and hours. Besides getting petted and rubbed and fed cat food and watching Toby and his boy play rough boy games, I learned that there were some rules around the place. Mother didn't let us climb up on her table in the kitchen to look at the plates. I guess she didn't want anyone looking at her plates, except people things. If we did, she would yell at us and swat at us with her dish towel. Daddy didn't like us to sharpen our claws on the couch or chair or rug. But where's a cat supposed to sharpen his claws if not for stuff like that? Anyway, if we did, he would yell at us in his loudest, deepest voice. Once, he even swatted Toby with a newspaper. That scared me so much I hid in my safe place under the couch for one whole night. There were also some things on shelves in the living room that Mother called trinkets. There were glass birds and statues of people dancing and a pink glass bowl. It had flowers and stems carved into the side of the glass. Do you know what trinkets are? If you have a prediction, you can type it in the comments. Trinkets are like toys. They could also be, like they described, like a bowl, a glass bird, a statue. So you can buy trinkets, like souvenirs almost, things that you can put on a shelf for decoration. There were glass birds and statues of people dancing in a pink glass bowl. It had flowers and stems carved into the side of the glass. One day, Mother found us up there. We were just looking, but she started yelling and screaming and calling us all sorts of bad names. I took off for a safe place. She chased Toby all around the living room until he finally ran under the couch, where I was. He was all puffed up and breathing hard, only he didn't want me to know how scared he had been. She isn't so tough, he said, slicking his fur down with his tongue. She isn't so tough. I'll show her. Toby did show her, too. The very next morning, he climbed back up on those shelves and started prowling around. Toby's being up there must have startled one of Mother's birds because it flew off the shelf. The dumb thing couldn't fly, though, since it was made out of glass, so all it did was fall on the floor. There was a loud crash tinkle. Toby stood real still. I ran for the safe place. Then Mother came in. Wait, I'm a little bit confused. Let's pause. I noticed that it said that they were talking about glass birds. And Toby was up on the shelf, and he was prowling around. So when you prowl around, or prowl means to like kind of walk around. Toby's being up there must have startled one of Mother's birds because it flew off the shelf. So you can kind of see in the picture. Here's some of the trinkets: a teapot, a cup, a bowl, statue, a glass bird. We know that must be Toby because he's up on the shelf. We know this must be Kiki because she's running away. And this looks like it's the glass bird that is on the ground. So I'm a little bit confused, though. I wonder why they said this. Kiki said he must have startled when something is started. Startled means like surprised something. He must have surprised Mother's birds because it flew off the shelf. Wait, did the bird fly off the shelf? Like it used its wings to fly off the shelf? No, we know it's glass. It can't fly off the shelf. This isn't a real bird. So, but maybe Kiki thought it was a real bird. Mother came in. She knelt down and looked at her poor dead bird. Her bottom lip quivered as she glared up at Toby. Before we could move, she grabbed him. What does that clue tell us? Her bottom lip quivered. When your bottom lip quivers, what does that kind of tell us about what feelings somebody might be feeling? The emotions. You can type it in the comments. You can tell someone that you're with. When your bottom lip quivers, it kind of, like a lot of times it's a sign that you're like really upset about something and maybe you're about to cry because you're so upset about something. Before he could move, she grabbed him. Meow! He cried. All of a sudden, Mother came after me. Why? I don't know. I hadn't done anything. I'd been under the couch all the time, but she reached under anyway and grabbed me. She didn't have a good hold, though, so I started to crawl away. Her finger slipped, but she caught my tail and held it firmly. She started pulling. I dug my claws into the carpet. It was no use. She just pulled harder. I couldn't hang on. Why me? I meowed. Why me? Mother didn't pay any attention. Once I was out from under the couch, she grabbed me by the back of the neck. She held Toby and me both at arm's length, took us to the back door, and threw us out. My legs went stiff. I twisted and turned and used my tail to straighten me out, and like a good cat, I landed on my feet. Toby landed next to me. He was all fuzzed up and looked rather indignant about the whole thing. The fur behind his neck was ruffled, so he gave a shake of his head. How dare you throw me out like some scrap of garbage, he growled. I'll show you. I marched right over to Toby and swatted him across the head with my paw. You won't show her anything, I growled. This is all your fault. You stay off that shelf. If she ever lets us back in the house, you stay away from Mother's trinkets. Toby just ruffled his fur and strutted off. I arched my back way up. I mean it, Toby. You understand? He flipped his tail. Well, while we're out here, he called over his shoulder, let's go explore. I was a little frightened of the outdoors, but I followed Toby. There were all sorts of neat things to see. There was a big oak tree by the back door. There were bushes to prowl around and rub my back on. There was dirt to roll in. There was even grass. I nibbled some of it. It didn't taste good, though, but it felt good on my tummy. Then Toby found the hole under the wood fence. Come on, he called, sticking his head through the hole. I bet there's a whole new world out there. Let's go explore it, too. Wait, Toby, I meowed back. Don't you think we should make sure that there aren't any bad things out there first? But Toby didn't listen. His tail disappeared through the crack in the fence. I poked my whiskers into the hole. They didn't even touch, so I knew it was plenty big enough to get through. Still, all I did was stick my head out the other side. I wanted to look this new world over. Finally, I went to join Toby. This new world didn't look bad at all. It was much bigger than the world in the house. And it was much bigger than the world in the backyard. Everything was open and wide and free. Surely nothing bad could live in this world, I told myself. The only trouble was something bad did live here. Butch! In the comments, I want you to give me a prediction of who or what is Butch, and what do you think is going to happen next? I'll see you guys next time. Bye!